I remember the first time when I was a little kid in kindergarten, we saw a movie on pottery, and I could not wait to try that. And I love the idea of taking something as humble as clay and turning it into a work of art. I wanted to make beautiful one-of-a-kind pieces. I think it can be elevated to the level of art, and it has to do with the artist's touch, the artist's inspiration, the feeling, and how much of yourself you put into that piece. Every piece is unique and one of a kind, and it's that way intentionally. And it evokes an emotion inside you. You want to be thrilled by it and just think, wow, it's stunning, or that is just so subtle in its beauty that I really like it. I mean, you just want to sit there and look at it. You want to put it out by itself and let it stand for itself on its own merit. Whereas a functional piece of pottery, a lot of that, when you're not using it, it's in the shelf. You put it in the cupboard when you're done with it. It can be beautiful and functional, or something can be, its function is its beauty. I try to take them one step farther. Everything counts. All the line quality, the proportions. And for me, the form is the absolute most important part of the piece. Because if the form is weak, the surface treatment will become more important than the piece of pottery. And then it's all about the surface and not about the pot itself. My heart and soul, everything I have goes in that piece of pottery. From the time I throw the ball of clay on there, the shape which I'm forming, I'm thinking about just the pure aesthetics of the shape. How tall is it going to be? What are the proportions of the shoulder, of the foot, of the neck? How does it flare? How much does it flare? The angle of the flare. And then when I'm trimming it, what do I have to do to make sure this form is just an aesthetically perfect form? And even though it'd be different from every single other one. It's a variation on a theme, but everything is always unique, and make it as the absolute best I can possibly make it. The more delicate it is, the more dangerous it is. And by dangerous, it means you can be careful. You have to be really careful with this. You could break it. And that's part of the allure of the pieces. You're going to do something that's going to be different. It's like, okay, I can take that a little bit farther. And I will continue to work on an item until I get bored with it. And then when I do get bored with a certain style or technique, that's when I'm going to start experimenting more, coming up with something different. And right now, I'm also taking a traditional form and pushing it by making the base narrower, the neck longer and thinner, and trying to take it to an extreme that people never did before, because the piece always had to maintain its function. Well, when its function is the beauty, I can just take it as far as I feel fit. And the thing that attracted me to Raku was you took it out and there was so much more serendipity. You had no control over how things were going to end up. You could play with the amount of reduction or smoke or carbon or flames, and how you would burp the piece to get more air into it. Raku is generally considered very a primitive way of firing and a very primitive look. Well, I wanted to prove you could take that primitive look and make it something elegant and beautifully understated, and just elevate it to a work of fine art.